Brought to you by our sponsors, William Richmond Inc., Farmers Home and Auto Insurance, the Bob Koski Agency, R.E. Graves Heating and Air Conditioning, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, McNeil's Group Properties, the Charleston Senior Community, and Chesapeake's Bounty. Now, here's a weather alert update from JB Weather.
Hey, and good morning, everyone. I am Forecaster John Bordash with you just before 11 o'clock this morning to give you an update here on the ongoing icing event across our region. Some of you have seen continuous freezing rain, some of you not so much. I would much rather be in the latter of those two situations, but let's get right into what it is we're seeing. And if you can let me know what you're seeing outside, that would be great as well. It really helps to kind of get a better idea of what we're looking at. We've seen a couple of dry slots move through this morning. This was the latest one to kind of move through. It was really kind of centered here over like Prince Frederick and Hughesville and Eagle Harbor and Mechanicsville for a while. That's not moving out over the bay. So we're now beginning to see this large swath of freezing rain really begin to work into our region. And this is really going to put down a decent amount of freezing rain in its wake. Sorry about that. Down here towards southwest Virginia, we've seen a lot of reports of freezing rain up to about a third of an inch, a quarter of an inch. Some storm reports coming in showing multiple trees down throughout Prince Edward County due to ice accretion. Tree down blocking the lane of I-64. Let's see. Several trees down west of Emporia in the vicinity of Route 58. Power lines down. And then down towards the southern portions of the northern egg, more trees are coming down. So this is what we have to look forward to, the general motion of all of this. And what I want to do actually is bring me a really inside radar here. The general motion of all of this is that we're looking at really what's moving, kind of moving up like this. Or maybe it's a little bit more east-northeast than just pure northeast. But you get the idea here. A lot of what we've seen down here is going to be moving into our region, and this really will begin to move in the next hour or two. Like, this is going to be really start to, I think, ramp things up here coming in over the next hour or two, right around lunchtime. A lot of you have seen ice kind of accumulate on your decks, on grass. So far, the roads have seemed to have been fine. It's really hard to tell that, though, because I have our access to traffic cameras, but I wouldn't really recommend road travel. Our roads currently sit between about 34 and 35 degrees, so that tells me that on the shoulder or in a less traveled lane, you're probably sitting closer to 32, and you're going to see some slick spots develop. So again, this is more moderate freezing rain down here in this circle, and all of this is moving through our region. This will be really kind of focusing on our region between about 12 and about 6 or so. And this is really when we could get the bulk of that quarter inch of ice. And again, that is moving right into our region. So you're going to want to take notice of that. And I really think going into this afternoon and going into this evening, that's what we're talking about. I've been showing all day today that storm timeline graphic, and I will bring that back up here for you because I think that's one of the most important graphics now. We all know we're under the ice storm warning. But again, I think the most important graphic I can show, if I can get it up, there we go, is this storm timeline. Right now, and I made this yesterday, so this was my forecast coming in. Right now we sit at 11 o'clock, so we're right in between that 9 and 1 p.m. marker. Over the next hour or two, we get into that orange zone. Those are medium to high impacts across our region. Again, most likely this afternoon and evening, we are for sure seeing that. Winds aren't too much of a problem right now, gusting maybe up to 10 to 15 miles an hour. But as we see more moderate bands of freezing rain try to push through, we could see some scattered power outages, and travel will be the most impacted going into this evening. Kind of where we sit right now, I had travel conditions up to about this point at 11 o'clock, and that green to maybe yellow phase, but now we're going to start to enter into more of those moderate to high impacts going in with your travel difficulties as we head forward, especially if you're driving on area bridges, overpasses, or ramps. Those are really going to be the areas that are going to accumulate ice quicker and that are really going to see impacts from this. Coming back in here to radar, let me bring it back in here. Now let's get it to where we are right now. Let's clear the screen a little bit and reset. You can see, and I want to see if we have a new, no, okay. So where you see this blue line, I'm about to denote it with a black line. This is roughly where our freezing line is, and it really has not budged much at all today. So everywhere inside here, is sub 32 degrees generally. And in our region, we're in the upper 20s to lower 30s in our region. And that's really allowing for, as we have cold air here at the surface, as the warm air kind of comes on top of it, we're looking at that precipitating down rain. But because we're so cold, it's falling as freezing rain. And that's really kind of, what's setting up across our region. And I really do think we are still on par to see, a decent amount of ice fall from this event. Generally speaking, like if we come in here to Southern Maryland, let's just turn some of these layers off quick. Let's turn that off. We can even turn radar off quick, just to kind of give you an idea of kind of where I sit with my ice expectations. And I know it can be hard to see the county line, so I'll try to makeshift draw them for you. So like this would be Calvert County here, St. Mary's, Charles. I'm better at making maps pretty than I am drawing them, but you kind of get the idea of where these counties are. Again, it is a good thing I do not make maps because for a living, because then we would have issues. But that's kind of those are our county lines in case you couldn't see them. Generally, the ice impacts I'm expecting is at the core of our issues will be the most felt probably right into this region. This is really the region where we could be talking around a 1/4 inch of ice, and that really accumulates. I mean, in the time frame I think we're talking about, again, is 12 to 6 p.m. You're going to see issues with travel and some outages as well. Now, if you're on either side of that area that I drew, I'll use with a different color. So kind of up here and down here, I think you're talking more along the lines of 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice. Same thing down here in southern St. Mary's, but what might be the saving grace is that this might be the region, if anyone switches over to rain, maybe you switch over to plain rain, but that's a question mark within itself. So this is kind of the situation report as we stand right now, is that we're still looking at the potential core of our ice impacts to be coming this afternoon and evening. Over the next hour or 2 hours, it really sets up, and we could see bands of some more moderate freezing rain. Kevin's saying Port Tobacco already has 1/8 of an inch with more falling. So that tells you we are already starting to see that ice accumulate, especially on grassy surfaces, on your deck, and on overpasses and bridges. Those colder surfaces is really where we're looking at those issues, and this will continue to move in. Let's kind of let's not get rid of this. Let's turn it off though. Let's bring radar back up. And actually what I want to do is get us into our sensitive radar. This really allows us to get in and really show locations. Again, if we take this off of winter mode and just into normal mode, this shows you where we have heavier bands of precipitation setting up. So these could be areas of more moderate freezing rain that we have seen develop now. And right now, those look to have been setting up right up here near the Washington, D.C. area. We have some kind of down here coming in towards the Westmoreland County area, and another one generally in this region. These are the areas where we have the heaviest freezing rain at the moment. And you might be saying it's not that heavy, but this ice, I mean, we're talking about 1/100ths of an inch of precipitation will cause issues. So it will not take much of this to fall. So when we say heavier, it might not be heavy, but we are talking about some issues. Zooming out here, let's put that back on. You could just see the immense amount of freezing rain that sits down here to our southwest. We have those deeper colors that have really, presented themselves, and this is all going to be moving here northwest over the next 1 to 2 hours. So that will continue to be the issue. Between 12 and 6 o'clock, I really think it's when we're going to be looking at the core of the impacts from this icing event. And so that's really going to be the time frame I'm looking at for potential impacts on area roads. And if we see outages, that's when we're going to be seeing them. And see if we have any new reports in from SMECO. Nothing in yet, so still no outages, which is good news. And I can give you kind of a tour around our traffic cameras right now. Going to see what we're looking at. Now let's bring that over here. This over here. This over here. Okay. Let's take a light look over towards Leonardtown at the moment. 5 at 2:43. You can see the precipitation falling. No one's on the road right now in Leonardtown. That's a very much welcome sight. This is California 4 at 2:35. We do see cars out and about, but you can see those roadways are wet, and I would imagine some of that could be slick, especially as this freezing rain really begins to pick up here. So again, traffic probably not the best idea to be doing right now. You can see this as we head down further along 235 and 3 Notch Road over towards the intersection with 237 here. I mean, right now it looks like I'm seeing a lot of water on the road, but with temperatures below freezing, you have to imagine that this is very prone to freeze up as well. So do be, use caution. The Thomas Johnson camera, I think, is still turned towards Town Creek. It is. Let's take a look down towards the Harry Nice Bridge in 301. Very sparse travel out and about that way. Over here towards Nanjemoyne, you can see there's a little bit of sleet and snow accumulation left over, but I can see raindrops falling right now. This does continue to show that idea that we are looking at some issues coming through the region as this freezing rain. This is on up towards Brandywine, 301 at 5. Let's take you on over towards Annapolis, see if we can get one of these cameras that works. Yes, here we go. So this would be 665 at Rivera Road, and this is 665 west for you. Right now, traffic seems to be moving well up that way. So the core of our issues are really going to be south of south of US 50. Is something going on in the comments? Isaac Green. But that's a lot of stuff to read. I don't know. But you do see the general idea here. So we will continue to see freezing rain kind of move into the region as we head throughout the day today. And this will continue to stream from the southwest northeast into our region. So this will be an issue for our region. If you're just now joining, just to kind of give you a quick situation recap, I think we are talking about freeze, and what might be easier actually is if I turn the radar off, weirdly enough, and just kind of right on top. Again, I think that we're probably looking at the core of our issues between 6 and 12 p.m. That's where we could see some moderate bands work through. You're going to see some travel impacts. And you might see some scattered outages. So this is kind of what we're looking at. And again, that core time for you is 12 to 6 p.m. this evening. So do stay aware as this continues to kind of push into the region. And Calvert County's been under that ice warning all day today. That was one of those breaking news things that we broke. I think that was like 3 o'clock this morning. So it's been up for a while for you. And yes, the roads have less traffic, obviously. They follow me. They know what's going on, clearly. So yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about. Radar is really kind of blossomed here, showing freezing rain. Is it potentially falling a little lighter where you are? Maybe. Again, this is just a look at radar. So this is how radar's perceiving everything, and maybe you have a different report, and that's fine. I don't have the answers to all of this, but what I can tell you is the data I see here is a temperature from the upper 20s to lower 30s below freezing. We have precip, it's likely falling as freezing rain, and freezing rain looks the exact same as regular rain. So that will be, yeah. So we'll see this continue to move through. All of this down here to the south still needs to move through. And then we have a couple more chances of ice, it looks like, coming up this week. It's going to be a long week. Which means this evening I'll probably be calling you to wrap around 7 or so when we get the bulk of this out of you and try to get some sleep. But I will, let's see if the power goes out so the kids will get Brian, it's funny. That's what my mom would say, spending too much time on the damn phones. And now look at me, I'm on the computer all the time doing my weather forecast. So stay tuned. We'll continue to keep an eye on this. I'll continue to keep you covered. We'll do another one at least probably around noon. Maybe we're getting to the same time frame where we're going to start doing this every hour. So stay tuned. I'll continue to keep you updated. In the meantime, though, I am Forecaster John Bordash. Thank you for joining me right now, and I'll see you here in just about 49 minutes. Stay safe.